Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. It's going to be a good show. Got a lot to talk about. Music's a little loud. Hang on a second. I really need to edit that to make it even a little bit easier for us to talk. That was just my first shot through it. Was the way we've been using it the last couple of weeks or months, actually. How you doing, Terry?
Not bad. How are you?
We'll get to that. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good. How about everybody in the chat? Hi, Cynic. Hi. Again, Terry, because you're in the chat too. Hi, Paul person. Hi, Pat. How's your holiday? I'm not sure if you're back yet, because I know it was 4 days, but I think he was visiting family in another state.
This is cool. Jen's
I'm not going to talk for you.
This is cool. Jen's doing my job for me. I can sit back and relax and not have to do anything. Talk to people in chat and everything. This is awesome.
Yeah,
let me go through everybody.
I used to be great for chat, and then
Let me go through everybody just to say hi. Keyradam, how you doing, sweetie? Cynic, Tall Person, our boy Pat, your boy Pat, and
hey, kid, I didn't screw up enough.
and Hate Camel are all in chat. Thank you guys for showing up on time. Feel free to give people come up later. Shit for being late.
At this point, Keith can come back and be like first, because technically she was first.
She was first, absolutely. Tonight, I guess I should probably respond to Terry. Wasn't feeling well today. I got up fairly early, and that's usually a bad thing for me because then I have to spend the entire day not eating because I don't eat before the show or on the day of the show because I never know how my system's going to react, and I don't want to be sick during the show. So I just don't eat on Wednesdays. That way I don't have to worry about being sick because...
None of us want you to be sick on the show.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, let me tell you. But I figured, something that typically would be okay for me would be no big problem. So I had some Frosted Flakes and milk. And I buy Lactaid because I can't handle milk very well. And... Frosted Flakes are not made with meat; they're made with corn, and I don't have a problem with corn. I have wheat allergies for wheat, so I figured I'll be okay. No. Dear. Yeah, about 2 hours later, I spent a good hour yakking, and then all stomach acid, and now my throat is killing me. Although I sound really great, so got a little bit of that raspiness in my voice tonight from injury.
Yeah, you don't sound like you're suffering. You sound like your normal self.
There's nothing worse than being sick and then losing your sense of humor on top of it. So.
But you sound like you got most of what was kind of bothering you out too, which...
Well, yeah, it was definitely out. There's no doubt. Violently. So my stomach's still upset. It's going to be upset for the rest of the day, I'm sure. My throat's... I made the mistake of, after doing that, I had some water and I took a medication, Nexium, that's supposed to help with acid. But Nexium's a PPI. It's a proton pump inhibitor. And what it does is it prevents your stomach from creating acid over a period of time. Well, it doesn't really do anything about the acid that's already there. And I had thrown up to the point where I ejected stomach acid. I know it sounds gross. So I just took a Nexium and took a nap because yakking takes a lot out of you, and I was all sweaty and it was awful. Anyway, aren't you guys glad you're here on time?
Well, I hope you feel better. I mean,
thank you.
I do that on occasion. It'll be something weird like the heat, or my female parts will be like, "Fuck you, Jen. I'm gonna teach you why it sucks to be female."
Well, the problem here is that I just drank a little bit of water because I didn't want to upset my stomach any further, and I took a nap. Well, the water didn't really wash the acid down that was in my throat. And it just sat there and burned the hell out of my throat. So I got up and I couldn't swallow. And I was like, holy crap. So I took a Tums, which is an antacid. That gets rid of acid, which is what I should have taken in the first place. So that allowed me to swallow and talk, but it still hurts to swallow. But at least I can do it now. So... I just thought I'd get on here and complain for a while. Hope everybody's having a great day. Anyway, the things on the list for the show tonight, suggested topics, because I don't know how much time I want to spend on any particular one of these. There was a tweet that I saw on the Twitter machine about limiting humans to 3 children because of overpopulation. I called the topic pub control, controlling the public population. And
yeah, and it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But the other 2 topics were not Shadow Legends. I guess most people don't understand what Shadow Legends is. It's Raid Shadow Legends, and we're talking about Mar-a-Lago. We'll get to that in a minute.
I made the same reference to Jack Cochran because he was like, he said he had a can of Raid to get rid of like some bugs, and I said, was that like part of a sponsorship deal from like promoting their Shadow Legends game?
Notorious YouTube sponsor. And then finally, Only in My Dreams is not the song by Tiffany. Coke is adding a new flavor called Dream World, and it's based on the taste invoked by dreams.
Yeah, and it's just that, listen, Coke, I remember how you first started out. You know, once upon a time when Coke was an ingredient in Coke, and now they're like, we're going to present you with a product that tastes like dreams. I'm sure you will.
Don't get it. We could probably talk about that first. I don't get it. You would think they have learned their lesson from New Coke, but apparently not. Look, you got a great product. Everyone likes the product that you have. Branching out to other tastes are really not serving you. Cherry Coke is not a big seller. I like it personally. I don't drink soda, but you know, every once in a while, if the girlfriend's going to have some, we have it in the house because she does like soda and she can drink it and not gain any weight, which is amazing.
I think it's fine for them to branch out. I don't think they should attach the name Coke to the new products because like they've got other flavors. They've got like lemonade, it's Sprite, and like Lift for the lemon squash. So they do have other flavors. It's just they're not called Coke. Once you attach the name Coke, people have a very specific expectation, and they don't want that messed with.
Yeah, like that one time when Pepsi had Crystal Clear or like the blue or like I you know, it's weird. You know, they keep telling us to stop going fake with their food, but then they go more fake with their food.
Did you see who's in chat?
I see Mash.
Yes.
And Michael.
Mash is in chat.
Yeah, I haven't seen you since Lords of the Night days, you know? Hope you're well. We gotta poke at Satsu.
If you guys get a chance, on YouTube, Mash has a channel where she does videos. It's what do they call that when you have an avatar?
VR? Anime VRs?
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't really know too much about it, but she does these really cool dance videos with a VR avatar. That's awesome. If you get a chance, go out on YouTube, subscribe to her, because the music is always great, and you know I'll never be able to dance like that. So it's good stuff. If you get a chance to do it, and also yes, Michael Hatfield, welcome to chat. But I was just surprised because I it's been a while since we've run into Mash. So hi, sweetie, how you doing? Anywhere, Coke Dreams, yeah. I have no problem with cherry Coke or vanilla Coke. You know, they've been able to do okay with those variants, but they're not leaders. Coke is their leader, you know? So you can try to do stuff like this, but it's a very bad idea to base it on something so ethereal as dreams.
Yeah, especially not with work people like me who, like I said, remembers the ingredients that they used to put in there back in the day, because Coke used to be the ladies' beer. The ladies' beer that just happened to have Coke in it.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Skittles. Taste the rainbow. What the fuck does a rainbow taste like?
Like water droplets in color.
I don't get it.
I think the rainbow was meant to suggest the colors of the candy itself, and they're saying each color has its own flavor. So you're tasting the rainbow in that you're tasting all the different colors.
Is that true? Each color has its own flavor?
Supposedly.
I imagine so.
Oh, because M&M's doesn't.
Well, no, because
M&M's it's just a candy shell on surrounding chocolate, whereas Skittles are more.
But a lot of things that have a lot of color don't have any, like Lucky Charms. All their colors taste the same.
Well, they're all marshmallows.
Yeah.
That are freeze dried, but it's more like Fruit Loops is a better example because they used to present their product as though every color was a different flavor, and then you found out later that it was bergamot and lemon.
Yeah.
I always questioned that because it reminded me of Earl Grey tea.
Ooh.
Because it has bergamot in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It always made me laugh when it comes to Skittles, how they get rid of all the colors during Pride Month.
Oh, white supremacy Skittles.
That's so funny.
Well, in hindsight, it's almost like the limeys got you to eat your tea anyway. I mean, you're supposed to drink tea, but they got you to eat it instead.
Yeah. I'm a tea person.
Tea is great.
I hate coffee.
I'm a big fan of tea. I drink a lot of it.
I like to bring it up to Polly any chance I can get because he's a big coffee guy. And I'm a tea guy, and I keep telling him how much coffee sucks all the time. Just to annoy him.
Yeah, I really don't like coffee. I can't stand it.
I love coffee, but I like tea too.
I don't like coffee.
I won't shade.
I don't like coffee anything, like coffee ice cream or I don't like. I just hate the taste all the way around. I've tried it several times. I've dated women who were big into coffee. You would like it. It just takes a little while to get used to it. Try it. No. It got to the point where.
I'm sure that's true. I'm sure if you drank enough coffee, you would eventually develop a taste for it. But why drink something you don't like purely to eventually maybe like it one day? Like, what's the logic behind that?
I guess because it's a shared experience.
Or if there's nothing else to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Hammer controls what drinks are available at your home. Yes. I think if he doesn't want to drink coffee, he can just not.
I control what I eat and drink. Absolutely. I'm not talked into things very easily. So I've had people try to talk me into foods. I'm like, no, I'm a meat and potatoes guy. I'm not going to try some exotic sushi. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Yeah. And maybe I'm limiting myself to a taste that could be I might like, but that's okay. Just steak and some fries, and I'm happy. That's all I need.
See, I'm willing to try things once, but only once. Like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to keep eating it until I like it. Like, they say olives are an acquired taste. Maybe.
No.
I don't like them, so I'm not going to eat them.
No, they're not an acquired taste. They're just foul.
No, I agree. Like, I don't like olives. I will not eat olives. But my dad loved them, and he was saying, it's because he had to eat them as a kid because that's what my grandmother put in the food. And so he developed a taste for them. It's like, cool. I don't need to go through that process because I can just eat what I want. It's like, I'm not going to eat olives purely to develop a taste for them. That doesn't make sense to me.
I'll try something if I'm curious about it myself. Like, yeah. I won't just say I'm not going to ever try anything new. I'm not quite that much of an asshole, but there are certain things I do want to try. Like, I would like to try poutine. I would like to try Vegemite. There are certain things that are kind of known. Certain areas are kind of known for them, that they're kind of big in that country, that I would like, okay, well, I'm going to be in, Toronto or something like that for a period of time. You know what I probably should do on there? It's their big thing, I should probably at least try that,
Right.
And it's not like I have to try maple syrup. Obviously, I've had pancakes before, and, the North is known for that, Canada. But I mean, something that's specifically traditionally of that area, I definitely would want to try it.
I mean, that was basically what I did when I went to Europe. Is like, when I went to Italy, I had pasta and pizza because that's Italian food, and I wanted to try proper Italian.
Sure.
When I went to France, I had the snails. When I went to Belgium, I had chocolate.
You're a world traveler, aren't you?
Well, I mean, back in the day, I did. I don't do that anymore. But
you don't travel off of your front porch.
No, exactly. But when I was younger, yes, I did see a fair bit of Europe.
What about you, Jen? Are you let's try anything and see what happens?
Well, I am to a certain degree. Like, I won't if they won't be. I won't if they won't tell me exactly what it is.
Oh, right. You're not gonna eat bugs, right?
No. Yeah. I mean, I will if it's a traditional thing. Like, say I went to one of those Asian countries where they're cooking tarantulas and it's the tradition. I'm gonna be like, wow, I'm really opposed to doing this, but I understand that that's a tradition. So you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm just not gonna go there.
Well, there's that option too, I guess, right? Just don't go.
But like, there are places where I'm like, okay, well, you know, what level of willingness am I gonna have to put myself through to be polite to you? Is this something that I'm willing to put in my mouth? I don't like seafood a lot. So, you know, I can't say no to every country that I'd like to visit to because a lot of countries really like seafood. You know, so that's why I'd still have to say yes to at least trying it. But after I've tried, I'm like, you know, do you have a chicken version of this or a vegetarian version of this? Because I ain't eating fish after that, you know?
Michael Hatfield says in chat, Jim Beam, I'm sorry, at Jim Beam, true beer, wine, black coffee, hard liquor are all acquired tastes. What do you think?
I don't like any of the things that
Like them all. I like beer. I don't drink. Just to be clear about that. I haven't had alcohol since I was in my early 20s, very early 20s. So I don't drink at all, but I like beer. I didn't have to acquire a taste for beer. My first beer, I was like, I like this. This is good. Wine, there's, you know, most of the rest of that I probably have to agree with, but I took to beer right away. So, and even today, if there are circumstances where if I really want, if there was beer in the house, because it never is, because I don't buy it. But if somebody stopped by and they brought like a 6-pack of beer, and it was a hot day, and we were just hanging out up front, and they said, "Hey, I brought some beer." I said, "All right, I'll have one." You know, because I like the taste of it. I mean, it's a good taste, especially on a hot day. But
no, I never liked it. Just whatever reason, it's just not something that I I appreciated. It's just like, no, this tastes horrible.
Yeah. How about you, Jen? You're a beer drinker?
Nope.
Okay.
Not really a drinker.
So you guys basically agree with him then, right?
Yeah.
Those are all acquired tastes?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't like any of them. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
The only time I liked a wine, I had an ice wine. It tastes like grape juice.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's grape juice. I can drink that.
You can certainly do things with all of these to make them palatable. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with many different mixed drinks, but there's a drink called an Alabama Slammer. American drink, obviously, from Alabama. Right. You guys know what that is?
No.
It's a mixture of 3 liquors and a little bit of fruit juice. Okay. And it tastes wonderful.
The only way I can drink alcohol is if it's buried in fruit juice. Like if you give me a vodka and orange, I can drink it. But if you just give me like vodka, I'm not going to get near it.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, but I mean, mixed drinks like a Screwdriver, Harvey Wallbanger, all those kind of drinks that all have something in them. Even the Russians with milk and stuff like that. There's ways of making alcohol more palatable. But an Alabama Slammer is basically just 3 alcohols with a little fruit juice on top, because the way the 3 work is they kind of nullify each other. And they don't taste when you put all 3 of them together, you don't really taste anything. You get a little bit of the sting because it is alcohol, but there isn't a strong taste. The 3 of them kind of cancel each other out. So the little bit of fruit juice is just enough to make it into, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, I'd try it. I mean, give it a try, see if it's any good. But I mean, if I don't like it, I'm just going to say like, no.
Yeah, it'll sneak up on you though. I'll tell you that. It's like I don't know if you ever heard of a mixed drink called an iced tea. It tastes just like iced tea. You couldn't tell the difference that it's got alcohol in it. And then you have like 3, and then you can't stand up anymore.
Well, I think that's always the danger when you like try to remove the taste of the alcohol. Is it's easier to lose track of just how much you've had to drink. Like if you're drinking straight vodka, you're going to know how much you've drunk. If you're burying it in orange juice, you'll be like, well, I've had 3, maybe 4. And then like, that ends up being a lot more vodka than you realized.
Cannibalistic Wizard says, Hammer stopped drinking when Prohibition happened. Thank you. I appreciate that. Old guy jokes. You're probably right. No, I mean, I graduated in 80. So I can say I haven't had a drink since maybe 83 or 84. So that's not the
I was
60s. I was
in
born
1980.
Yeah, y'all youngins. Shut up.
No, it's just funny that there's like, it's easy to forget how much the age gap is because, like, I normally think of like someone approaching 60 as like really, really old, but like it's not really. And so it's like, because we can talk to each other, it's just like chat. It's easy to forget just how big the age gap actually
Well,
is.
it really depends on the person. Sir Animating is in the chat. Hey, Addie. It depends on the person. I certainly do not act my age. I'll never act my age. When I'm 70 or 80 or 90, I'm going to sound like I do right now. I mean, assuming my throat holds together. I don't abuse it anymore. But yeah, I still feel like I'm 25 as far as mentally. You know, I still relate to people who are adults, regardless of whether they're 25 or 55. So it doesn't matter to me. When you're a disembodied voice on the net, you don't have to be 60.
No,
you know?
but I was just saying, it's like, it's easy to forget because like I sort of naturally assume that people I get along with are of similar age to me just because that's kind of how it usually falls out. So when there's like someone where there's a big difference, it's easy to forget that. It's like,
yeah, I mean, I remind, as soon as Skep Tock opens his mouth and talks, I know he's my age. His voice sounds like he's 60, which is what it should sound like. It should. I mean, your expression stuff. I don't buy into being 60. I know it's not like something you can buy into, but I just don't believe in acting my age. Is what it comes right down to. I send text with smiley faces. I mean,
so do I.
You know, it's just a younger person does that. You know, somebody 60. Except maybe if a grandmother is sending it to her grandson or something like that, they might do something like that, or if they just found that feature on their iPhone and want to play with it. But a 60-year-old man sending tweets with cute little emojis and shit like that, it's not typical of my age. But I like it, so fuck it, I'm going to do it.
I mean,
you know?
that's my basic attitude. Is, you know, if I like it, I'll do it as long as I'm not hurting anyone.
There's a certain amount of rebellion there. You know, that's the same thing with. I think I've mentioned before that my iPhone. The color of my iPhone is pink. Because if you look at me, you would not think anything in that frame at all. I'm a very masculine, facial hair, tall, you know, big guy kind of thing. And I get that there's bears out there and all that kind of stuff. So just that's something. But somebody would expect me to have a black phone, you know, or a silver phone or something like that.
My phone is pink too, but for a totally different reason. Is like, I went there, they said, all we've got is rose gold. Is that okay? So, yeah. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, you're different from me. You don't give a shit. I like to actually do it on purpose.
Right. Like, if they'd said, do you want rose gold or black? I probably would have gone black. But if they say the only color available is rose gold, sure, give me that then. What do I care? As long as it makes phone calls and I can, you know, install Google and, you know, the various apps that I need on it, it can be whatever color it needs to be.
I admire your indifference to things. Yeah, I do all this work on OBS to make our icons, everything look pretty, and you're like, okay. completely unimpressed. I love that. I mean, nothing phases you.
I've definitely got a leaning towards like functionality over form. Like, if it works, I don't care what it looks like. And like I play video games that are tremendous amounts of fun but look terrible because I don't give a fuck about the graphics. It's not necessary to my enjoyment. It's like, does it do what I need it to do? Yes, I like it.
At least Jen appreciates all my hard work.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you put in a lot of effort. I'm just saying that I can't appreciate the end results because it just looks like a live stream to me. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Why don't we move on to our next topic, because we've discussed Dreamworld quite enough.
Sure.
You know, to be honest with you, the other two, we don't really even have to talk about these topics. I'm not really that married to either one of them.
I mean, I think we do need to at least touch on the Trump raid.
The Trump raid and the pub control, because this week I was kind of talking about how they're really pushing for this crowd control as though we're not already naturally on a downward slope as it is.
That's one point. Yes, that's one point.
And they've already kind of lied about that. Like, I know my memory gets fluffy over the years because stats change really quickly. But I remember a couple of years ago that they were freaking out because we were on the verge of hitting 8 billion people. And I was like, you know, yeah, we did. And you look it up and they're like, no, we were never at 8 billion people. We're almost at 8 billion people. And then you look in there and you try to look it up, and half of what you get on Google will say like 746, 748. You know, I had the Brits doing it. I had Batman and TC looking it up. And it took them 2 tries to get the real number, 796.
But population is like self-regulating. Like, there's no way to overpopulate because eventually there's not enough resources, and then the population drops to the point where people have enough resources.
Well, so we've kind of been naturally doing that as it is, because for one thing, every major country right now in the Western world has been crying about the fact that we're not pushing out enough babies. If we're not aborting them, we're not pushing out enough babies. On top of that, our elderly are on the verge of going. Like, I'm looking at my parents because they think that they're immortal. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm glad you think that, because it's maybe going to give you another 10 years for me to enjoy.
It's
but no one lives forever.
Underpopulation is a much bigger threat than overpopulation, because overpopulation is self-regulating. Eventually, you reach a point where you can't sustain that number of people and they die off. It's cold, but you can't get overpopulation because of that. Whereas underpopulation, you will eventually die out.
Jackson chat, so we have to end the stream.
Well, it's been nice talking to you guys.
Elon Musk talked about this. He says, you know, he has like never a plan for me, even when I was in my 20s, to ever have kids. I have such bad genetics. I wouldn't curse anybody with these genetics. It's just terrible.
It's also the big push from the leaders that we don't name because, you know, we don't name. They are pushing for herd control. They always push for herd control. They use scare tactics to push for herd control. So you've got so many people who, I remember even in my 20s, this was conversations that came up as a 20-year-old.
Hang on a second. I need to address something really quick. Anybody watching the stream will notice that our stream died for a period of time.
Yep.
You see the dip went down and went back up again. We're okay now. I have to do a refresh on your browser.
Did I say naughty things?
No.
Susan's attempting to kill us. But OBS is stronger. Anyway, if you just do a refresh, you should be okay. Obviously, we're back up to the proper number. Nothing happened here, just so you understand that on my side of the world, everything's great. That little bar that shows you, that's between me and YouTube. I'm sending. YouTube's not accepting, so it's not me. Just so you guys understand what that bar means. So as long as that bar exists, even if it's dipped all the way down, that bar shows that I am sending. It's just showing that YouTube's not taking it. So
I think you're glossing over the fact that it is in fact Jack Kunsky's fault.
Of course, Jack shows up and the stream goes to shit. For Christ's sake. The hell. We love you, Jack. Don't go anywhere. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Go ahead, Jack.
I'll just finish it really quickly. But like, I even remember in my 20s, and you might even remember conversations similar to this at some point, both of you, with younger people, about whether or not it was a good idea to even have children in the first place. Because even back 20 years ago, you know, there was 9/11, you know, the world was kind of erupting with, you know, the fear of Muslims everywhere, because boom, boom everywhere. And that went on for like off and on for years. And then school shootings, and, you know, the world was such a terrible place. And why would you want to have children? And, you know, I remember that a lot. That would come up like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't really stopped, you know, and So like I said, like when I was talking about numbers of the population, and I realized that, yeah, even Google is lying about how many people are on the planet. And I think they're doing that on purpose, because either there's been a drop in population or there's been a drop in population. And I can guarantee you it's not necessarily from COVID. It's not. Like, I don't know where that number is coming from, but I am looking at China a lot. And I'm also looking at other places a lot. Because we don't always see numbers here, but a lot of bad things happened over the last 4 years. A lot.
Quick chat thing. Spuggun says, quick question, Hammer. Did you find a UK Ian to sit on the panel? I think it was 2 weeks ago we had Wandering Lisa on.
Yeah.
She is a UK Ian.
That's funny.
No, we're never going to do a 4-person. It's always going to be 3 people. It's always going to be me, my Australian friend, and my Canadian friend. That's always going to be the team. We will have guests on from time to time. Hopefully guests that are not necessarily from one of the 3 represented countries at the moment. But I mean, we had Scribe on. He's American. So, yeah. But
we had BG on too. She's Canadian. But you know, the thing with the nice thing with doing that is, if we do that, you can pick people from, like, you know, even in Australia, you technically could get away with this once in a while. But if you pick someone from an entirely different region, it does add to the show. But if I brought in another Albertan, like say Della, we all love Della. Della's great. Yeah. But in all honesty, I don't, you know, what is he going to say that's different from me, other than regionally he sees things maybe mildly different? He probably does. In all honesty, I would get more from that conversation than either of you two would.
No. But without Della, who would say a boot?
Reed, he'd tell you a boot. He does that more than I do.
He does it on purpose, I think, personally.
Well, he does.
Obviously.
It's a joke. But it's not even that I don't do it. But it's a self-conscious effort to put in the Canadian, you know, like that one time my aunt worked up down in the US, and I guess she worked for a Kmart. That's how long ago it was. But some lady in the store asked her where the bras were, and she was like, "Oh, I can help you with that, eh?" And she got in trouble.
Hey, yeah, why can't Kira Dan be on? He says, "Too bad I can't."
Because you were saying can't be from the same country as any of us, and she's American.
Okay, but she wasn't born in America, right?
I think she was. I think her parents are ones that were.
I'm looking for a way to get Kira on the show. Jack, Jack, do you really want to be on this show? Do you really want to be on the show? I don't know if you really want to be on the show. I think Jack's just fucking with me.
If we did bring Jack on, we could always just pick his mind apart, because he'd end up being the youngest person on the panel. He would.
That's true.
So we could be like, so you're exiting school now. My understanding, because I haven't talked to him in like ages. I really haven't. I've been avoiding like everybody because I don't have time to be pulled into more stuff. But he supposedly graduated, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gotten through puberty at least.
Yeah, he's in his 20s, I believe.
Yeah, you're in your 20s, right, Jack? Do you mind us talking about your age, Jack? I think he's in his mid-20s, 25, 24.
Thereabouts. I forget the exact number, but it's something like that.
All right. I mean, I'll make the commitment right here. You want to be on? We'll put you on next week. Is that what you want? You have to answer me in chat. It's going to take a minute. I try to get people who are at least not from the United States. If I double up on Canada or Australia or something like that, I don't really mind that too much. If someone were to say, pick a place, I would say, well, I want Scotland or Ireland or, New Zealand, as long as, Terry doesn't attack them. That's what my goal would be, is to bring people on from places that are not represented. But I have a special bias against America because I'm American, and we already have this thing where we're a little too nosy and we're pushing ourselves on other countries a little too much already. So I had this natural bias to say, well, not Americans, But
also there's a lot of American representation, like just in terms of like the kind of things that we sort of collectively watch in like our circle, there's a lot of Americans in that. So if the idea is to get outside perspectives, then I can see why like another American on top of, Monkey, Scribe, Satsu, Matt Christensen, like Ben Shapiro, like there's lots of American voices already covering stuff. So I can understand why you would want to shy away from that.
There you go, Spud's from Northern England.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with having Spud on. And technically, Camel is from the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma.
There you go.
Which is
not American.
Technically not American.
Why does that sound so wrong? He's literally one of the first people. His Choctaw tribe was one of the first tribes living in what is now America. It was always been North America. Camel sounds good online. I haven't ever heard. I don't think I've ever heard Spud on a live stream. I have no idea what you sound like, dude.
He's been on Quippers United before.
Oh, has he?
You can find, if you can find that stream, you'll.
Should we let Jack on the stream?
I think he wants to ruin things up close and personal. I think that's his real motive.
He'll be the first person to kick off the stream during the stream. What do you think, Jen? Should we have him on?
I think it'd be fine. Like I said, you could pick apart his mind because he just graduated. And I know that's annoying for you, Jack. But at the same time, as an old person who hasn't gone to college,
it's democratic.
Exited that shit.
It's a democratic. You got 2 yays and a nay, so we'll have you on next week. So it's a commitment. You got to, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have you on in 3 months. No, it's next week. So clear your schedule so you can be on the show. This is my job. I'm so magnanimous, making dreams come true. Anyway.
And Kevin's bringing up the whole whiskey drama. That was funny.
No talking about burning Jews, Jack. Okay, that's right off the table.
Anything that would get this channel taken down is kind of Don't go there. Yeah. This isn't the corner.
You read Carson. You should invite him.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't like you much. So now that we've had a deep dive and discussion into Mar-a-Lago, let's move on. That was sarcasm because we went to talk about it and never did. We talked about pub control instead. But I think we nailed that one pretty much. Let's talk about Mar-a-Lago. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I'd rather have a interaction with chat than talk about this. But it is big news. I am very riled up about it, and that's the reason why I don't want to talk about it. I'm very, very angry. I seriously want to punch a lot of walls. Thank God I'm smart enough not to go after my monitors because that was my first target.
Yeah. That'd be expensive.
That would be expensive. They're not cheap monitors. I spent a lot of time saving up money for these. The fact that they did this and it's never been done before is not really the issue. This is not the reason they're trying to do this. The reason they're trying to do this is they're trying to keep him from running in 2024 because they know he's going to win. That's the whole thing behind it. It's not legit. I mean, they might have gotten a warrant, but they got the warrant from the same guy who defended Epstein.
Yeah.
So that's a whole lot of bullshit there. And they won't give Trump or his lawyer who was there on site when this... Take a second, Hammer. Take a second. Whose lawyer who was there on site would not give them a copy of the warrant, would not show the warrant unless they were 10 feet apart. So they couldn't read the details of the warrant. They just showed, yes, it exists. And now they will not release the information that allowed them to get the warrant. The appellate, what do they call that? There's a affidavit. That's the word. I mean, it began with an A, not appellate, affidavit. That's submitted to get the warrant. That's sealed. No one's allowed to see it. There's a lot of shady shit going on here. And you should have seen Megyn Kelly go off on this. She has a YouTube show now because she got canceled. Right. She fucking went off on this. I've never seen her quite like that. She's always been, hi, I'm Megyn. I'm pretty. Listen to what I say. I wear pink makeup, pink lipstick. I'm pretty. But she just went to town on this. They're coming after you. I mean, she was like ranting monkey style. She was just really going. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, I understand why people are heated over this. This is like pretty despicable behavior.
I'm just trying. I'm sitting here talking to the two of you and reading chat. Hey, Feather, and reading chat, and I'm just spending most of my time trying not to blow up on this and slam my fist on my desk and scream because there's not. It's just all wrong. Everything about it is wrong. There's nothing here that makes any sense at all, and apparently nobody can do anything about it. It's just this is just the way it is, and you're just gonna have to take it. And I'm not even a conservative. I'm not even a Republican. It's just not fair to do this. Your methods and what you're doing are wrong, and your aim is clear. There's no two ways about this. You're just trying to keep him out of office, and the
transparently so.
The citizens have the right to elect who they want, and you're interfering with that. It's just that simple.
Well, I mean, they have the right to elect who the party wants, not who they want. That would be crazy. No. Who the Democrats want is who they're allowed to vote for.
We do have an independent class. We do have a third party. We do have an independent party. So if they ever come up with a decent candidate, it's possible that the people could actually choose somebody from an independent category. But yes, it's true.
Andrew Yang trying to do a third party thing?
It's the independent party has existed for quite a long time, but nobody from that party has shown any true leadership capabilities or run on a platform that would be even remotely successful. I mean, just about everybody's running an independent, Perot and Johnson and all those. Johnson didn't even know what that I can't remember the name of it. There was some war in a foreign country, and he had no clue about it. I'm not running for president, so I don't have to know. But he should have known. And instead of saying, I don't know, he was just hesitant and what are you talking about? Like he was completely clueless and looked like an ass. So it kind of ruined his chances because he kind of looked good for a while. And then you had that female, what was her name that ran for the independent party? And she never got anywhere. So, I mean, no independent has shown any kind of true ability to be a president. And that's why they've never been considered.
But I do think going after Trump like this is incredibly short-sighted because they're basically burning all good faith in their establishment. Like anything the FBI does from now on is going to be looked at with great skepticism.
They're proving his point. He said all along, this is the swamp. They're against us, not him, us. He says, and they'll go through me to get to you. I'm the only one standing in their way.
That's the famous quote is, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way.
Exactly. And they're proving, Joe Jorgensen. Thank you very much, Feather. It's very clear by doing this that they're martyring him. They're proving his point for him.
Yeah, couldn't have done it better.
It's going to incense the Republican base. And a lot of Democrats are going to be looking around like, I don't know if I want to put my hat on this because this is bad. If it was the other way around, if they were going after a Democrat like this, it would, I'd be upset. So maybe I just shouldn't say anything. And all it's going to do is it's going to get Trump elected.
Yeah. But I think the plan was they give him some sort of criminal record so he can't even run.
Exactly.
Was the plan.
Exactly. To keep him. That's exactly right. That's exactly the point I'm making.
So, I mean, if they somehow get him ineligible to run, then whoever runs for the Republicans in his place is the one that's going to get all the support.
Can you imagine if DeSantis ran in 2024 and Trump was out? It would be a landslide. It would be a landslide. I mean, he's Trump without the baggage.
Yeah. I do like DeSantis. I like a lot of the ways he's basically telling the progressives to fuck off. He's like,
yes, he is. Jen, do you have an opinion on any of this? You've been suspiciously quiet.
Yeah, my brother is just waiting for an order. I was trying to, just in case he needs to talk to them. But yeah, the entire thing is sketch. It looks like they failed in what it was they were trying to do, which is why they're freaking out right now. Yet again, it's an example of Democrats making excuses for why their side gets to behave badly. And they're also, they really don't give a shit about the fact that everything they're willing to let slide, the Republicans could do in revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that you guys would.
Yeah, we would.
Or that you have intentions of.
I say we. Yeah, they would.
But, like, this is the thing. Like, this is this here. Because we're not too far off in terms of how vicious we've been. And it's like, don't set up stuff that your opponent can use against you. You know, there's that part where you're supposed to be on the same side. Yeah. I'm like, okay, let's just make it worse for everybody.
But the other thing is, if Trump does get in, like, he's not the type to be sort of magnanimous and say, look, I know what they did to me was wrong, but I'm not going to retaliate because the good thing, what's best for the country is to just bring the temperature down. He's not like that. He's going to be like, no, fuck those guys.
Yep. Like, DeSantis would be the same way.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like, they're not going to, like, do the thing that's best for the country and try and bring the political tensions down. They're going to like, no, you've declared this open season, so it's our turn, baby.
Don't think that DeSantis isn't pissed either, because they did this in his state.
Yeah, but my point, I don't know DeSantis well enough to know how he would react. I'm just saying Trump for sure is not going to be like, well, no, the right thing to do is to drop this. I know a lot of people would see this as justified, but it's not helpful. It's going to do more harm than good. I'm just going to step aside. He is not that person.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. The thing about Trump is he's unpredictable. When you think you have him nailed to a certain agenda, he changes. So, you know, everyone can say, yeah, he's going to rip ass and he should just tear them apart. Rah, 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 rah. And he gets in the position, assuming that it all happens. He may just not do that just because that's what he's expected to do. And that's very much Trump. Whatever he's expected to do, he will not do. So if he's expected to go after him, he probably won't. Maybe I'm playing 3D chess.
I think the right thing to do would be not to retaliate, because if he retaliates, then when the Dems get in, they're going to retaliate, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and the political discourse is going to just implode. So I do think someone needs to eventually be like, no, this needs to stop. And unfortunately, that would be seen as taking the L, to use modern vernacular.
Yeah.
And no politician is willing to be seen as doing that.
Right. Well, I think he should pick a target that he can definitely win and do just that one thing. So if he can say, you know, Kamala did this, I have proof, here's a point, we're putting her in jail. And he can actually follow through with all of it. Leave Biden alone, leave Pelosi alone, leave Schumer alone, and just find somebody who's going to be a slam dunk. Just pick one and do it. Just let them know, look, could go after all of you, but I'm just going to take this one guy and punish the fuck out of him, and then back off. You know, I think if I were Trump, that's what I would do. But obviously, I'm not Trump.
No.
So
I think it's probably a good thing that there's only one Donald Trump. I mean, son. Like one.
Would you retaliate? Would you, if you're Trump and you're in that position, you have the entire Congress, the House and the Senate on your side, because that's going to happen in November anyway. And then you get in office 2 years later. Do you go in there and start playing whack-a-mole?
I'd be tempted. That's the thing. Like, I think it's a terrible idea, but I'd still be tempted. If like they'd done this, if they did to me what they did to Trump, it would be hard not to. I still don't think you should, but I can acknowledge that, holy crap, it would be so tempting to do it.
I've had this Twitter, I've done this thing on Twitter whenever I find situations like this, and I start reciting Proverbs, and there's a reason why Proverbs exist. So in this case, it would be, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, or turnabout is fair play. An eye
for an eye makes the world go blind.
Yeah, turnabout is, well, it used to be an eye for an eye, but turnabout is fair play. There's a whole bunch of proverbs that talk about if you're going to do it to me, then I have the right to do it to you. And that's
no. But my point is, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
yes, I've heard that phrase too.
The counter argument to that is like, if you let this deteriorate into like basically Banana Republic antics, then that's not good for anyone.
But we've
Like,
already seen the Banana Republic antics by going after Mar-a-Lago in the first place. That's definitely Cuba shit, you know?
No, sure, but I'm saying to continue it would not be beneficial to anyone.
It wouldn't.
Cause things to spiral out of control.
Except for his ego.
Someone has to be the one to say,
all right, we've had enough. Right.
And
I agree.
It has to be the person who was most recently targeted that stops it, because anyone can say, all right, let's stop this now that I've had my revenge, because that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You have to be the most recent victim and say, I am not retaliating. We need to stop this.
There is a way to do that. You could just say, look, I'm bigger than all that petty stuff, you know,
right.
and you come out as the good guy at the other end, and then you get a second term.
If Trump does that, I'm all for it. I don't think he's the type to
hopefully
take this.
Hopefully we get a chance to see.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, considering the level of stress and anger I have right now for what's happened so far, if they do manage to pin something on him and keep him from running, I'm going to be inconsolable.
Oh yeah, no, it's not good for the country that this happened at all. And if the Republicans take on a retaliatory position, it's going to get worse. It's just going to spiral out of control.
They were not allowed to view what those agents were doing.
That's terrible.
The agents requested that they turn off security cameras. They didn't do it, but they requested it.
This is like terrible. This is like
they're gonna plant something. They're gonna plant something.
That's what that comes across as. Even if they weren't going to, that's what it sounds like they wanted to do.
I don't know if the security cams are good enough to keep them from doing it. You know, you get the right angle. You know where all the cameras are. You know what the right angle is. You can run it down the side of your body and reach down to some papers and pick it up, and there it is in your hand, you know? So I just don't understand why he would keep that kind of stuff at Mar-a-Lago.
I've got no idea.
Yeah, I would have shipped that to Switzerland somewhere where no one can get at it. If there's anything that he has to be worried about. I don't even know if, I mean, it could be legitimate. Maybe he has something he's not supposed to have. But
from what I've heard, they're talking that it was classified documents that he had.
Yeah, Obama had classified documents. He shipped a ton of stuff. Something like 7,000 reports or something like that he still has.
Right,
nobody touched him.
I'm just saying, I think the angle that they're taking is that he improperly removed classified documents from, like, he didn't record them properly or whatever. Like, he's in illegal possession of classified documents is, from what I can tell, the angle they're pursuing.
I think they also wanted to get to his tax returns because I'm sure that information was taken too.
Oh yeah.
And that's probably going to get leaked.
Didn't they already get access, and it turned out he was paying his taxes just fine?
Not that I'm aware of. If you know something I don't know, I'd love to see that somewhere on.
This is just a half-formed memory. I was sure that I heard something about it.
They got one.
I could be misremembering.
They got 1 or 2 pages. Rachel Maddow had this whole thing on CNN where she had like 2016, the year of 2016's taxes from him. She had like 2 pages from his tax returns, and they were benign.
That must be what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yep. He had paid it too.
People don't understand the whole idea behind deferment. People don't get that. You guys know what that means, right?
Yep.
You don't pay your taxes every year. You pay your taxes every other year. That's how that's how everybody who has lots of money does it. They pay it every other year. That way they can get the most benefit from the tax loopholes. Well, not loopholes, but the tax statutes and laws. Right.
Yeah.
So one year they don't pay any taxes. Next year they pay all the taxes. So when someone says he didn't pay any taxes in 2020, yeah, but he paid 2020 taxes in 2021 along with 2021 taxes. They don't ever say that, though.
Of course not.
So it's the same thing with Trump. If they would have found that he had not paid taxes, it would have been all in an uproar. And I'd be just like, deferments. You know, I had to learn when I bought my farm, I had to defer the taxes to the next year. They were just, it wasn't something I'd be able to front immediately upon buying the farm. It just wasn't doable as far as finances were concerned. I had to defer. It was no problem. Yeah. It's one form. It's not like a multi-page document where you have to have your lawyer. You can just fill it out yourself. It's as easy as a 1040. That's our typical tax form. To just say, I will pay the taxes. I'm just going to pay it next year. And that's all you got to do. Right. It's very simple. So I don't understand why people don't understand the most benign documents when it comes to taxes.
No, they don't want to. They want to hate Trump, and facts be damned, they're going to hate Trump.
Mm-hmm. It's just easy to hate Trump.
TDS.
Yeah, basically.
We're coming up on 10. Is there anything you guys want to talk about?
I would like to encourage everyone to watch the movie Young Einstein.
I still don't know if I'm able to get that. I'm not going to pay the what was it, $3? Oops.
Yeah, it was $3 for me to rent it on YouTube. So, I don't know if it's worth spending money on, but if you get a chance to watch it for free,
I'll find it.
I thought it was hilarious when I was 7. I hope it's still hilarious.
If I can find it, I'll do a movie review on it. How's that?
That sounds good.
I'm just going through reading chat before we get out of here because I don't really want to start a topic. We got 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes left on the show. Hillary transmitted classified documents via email. Crickets, exactly. What about the 30,000 emails for Hillary Clinton? We never saw that. What about the leaker? There's things that the FBI could be looking into. What about the person who leaked the Roe decision?
There you go.
What about Pelosi and her questionable ethics when it comes to her husband and, buying stocks?
You wouldn't dare suggest she might be involved in insider trading, would you?
There's so many things that they could be going after that are legitimate questions.
Yeah.
But no. Hunter Biden's laptop? Look at all these things that they could be... Exactly. Look at all these things they could be going after, but instead they're going to try to prevent somebody from running for the president. Oh, well. So, I guess we'll wind things up unless you guys have something else to go over.
No, my apartment went from comfortable to overheating really quick. And I was like, why?
When I sat down to start the show, it was 78 in the bedroom. And by the time we got done talking pre-show and I was getting ready to actually start, which is about, 20 minutes we were talking before the show? It was 85 degrees in here.
Jeez.
I was like, what? I turned the air conditioner on. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but I had to turn the air conditioner on.
I can't.
So, anyway. All right, well, let's go ahead and get out of here, then. I'll start the music.
Alrighty.
Thanks, chat, as always. We need to interact more with chat. I got to remember to do that next time. For hanging out with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening, including weekdays, with most weekends, with most shows starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Host and start times are listed in the description down below. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye,
guys.